Welcome to this special event here. I want to call it that because we have one of our good friends of Chasing Labels, Mr. Ryan Verrill here, not only of Disconnected, not only of like 500 other things he's doing, but now on top of that, he is now starting a new boutique label. That's what we're all about here, ain't we? Now we have to talk about him as somebody that makes discs, puts discs out into the world. Ryan Verrill, what is this new label that we're talking about?
We are talking about a company called Antenna.
Oh, just very proper. It's a company. It's going to be awesome. Okay? It's going to be awesome. An awesome company. Antenna Releasings.
I mean, it's overall just an Antenna. You got to have like an official company name. So the website will say Antenna Releasing, and the paperwork will say Antenna Films. But it's going to be grander than that. And over the next year, we'll break all that down. But yes,
awesome. Well, I just want to say up top, this is fantastic, man.
Thank you.
If I've never said it, I love you, man. I love all the work you're doing. You know, you're an inspiration, I think, to a lot of people in this space that love movies, that love boutique labels, love physical media, and you've taken that to another level. Like these are things that I think a lot of us think about, but you're doing it. You're doing it, man.
Certain aspirations I think that many of us have within the space, and it's nice to see one of us, not to quote freaks, doing it.
Not that people in the labels right now are not one of us, but you know, like we saw it from the ground up.
Well, I see just from a boutique collector's perspective, you know, it's always, you always have those things of like, what would I do if I started my own label? What would I title it? What would I concentrate on? What would the special features be like? I always get those kind of questions on Chasing Labels all the time. And it's always like, I have to stop and think, what would I do if indeed I ever did that? But to see somebody that we know doing it, you can kind of see what that process would look like.
Well, you got to get it. We got to get into that. Let's get into the origin story. I want the prequel movie.
Let's do it.
What's before an antenna? Damn it. Baby Antenna.
Lay the ground wiring?
Ground wire. Give me the ground wire for how Antenna began, where the thought came.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. And there's other stuff that you and I haven't talked about in detail before, but I've actually attempted to kind of do this twice before. And you both know, because I've done it with both of you, that I am truly, and there's not like an easy way to say this without sounding kind of full of myself, but I really try to be collaborative and bring everybody in and build all these things up together. So I've tried to do this before with two other groups. One where it was a group of 5 or 6 of us building a boutique label. Like we've laid out like business plans and everything. The first time didn't even get to the business plan. It was like an aspirational, we'll have a couple meetings, and then it fizzled immediately. The second time, like there was a full business plan. There was a couple of meetings. There was like, we're going to actually do this. Here's people's roles. Here's what we're going to do. And eventually people just got busy. So it just went out of nowhere. And then this third time, this is where it gets really fun to me. And I can't really wait to see how people respond to the story, because I was able to interview a lot of people on my show. And one of them was the director, Fran Galuppi, who is literally at this moment in New Zealand directing not the 2026 Evil Dead film, but what will be the 2027 Evil Dead film.
I saw that.
And he is on my show. We're having a great conversation. This is late spring, early summer of 2024. And we're just geeking out together over boutique releases. And about halfway through the interview, he literally says, should we just start a Blu-ray label? And we were like, ha, ha, ha. And we go and carry on this interview. And then we get done. And I was like, no, wait, really? Like, would you ever like want to consult or be, a part of some of these things? Because I know some people that would love to do something like that. And he's like, yeah, man, let's have some talks. Let's at least discuss and see what ideas happen. And little did he know that I would take that very seriously.
Okay. I'll never hear from that guy again.
I mean, that was like April or May of 2024. And then I literally at the end of July or early August, I don't remember the exact date, but I showed up at his house in Los Angeles, California.
Oh,
And
stalker move. Such a stalker move.
Fran very graciously invited me and a few others into the back of his house, and we sat and had a conversation, and he went, this is a great idea. I'm in. Let's do it. And so we started again with me and a group of 3 or 4 other people, moving towards this grand idea with Fran involved. And again, lives got busy. The end of 2024 came, early 2025 came, and a lot of people just had life going on. They couldn't really handle doing this and starting a new venture, or doing the normal everyday life with family and kids, and starting a new venture, and it was just too much. And so I was, through my day job, kind of stuck in the middle of a lot of this negative things happening in 2025. I don't know if you heard, but 2025 was a rough year for a lot of people.
It's all the way till today. I don't even want to get into it. It's just not. It's rough. I'm waiting for I want to get that time machine going and just jump ahead 3 more years.
Yeah. So that was happening. My day job was greatly affected by a lot of it, and I kind of contacted most of the people that were involved in the initial plan for this new venture and said, listen, you're not really able to keep up with this, and I'm not having a great time. So would you be okay if I just sort of stepped on the gas and handled a lot of it myself? And they were like, you know what? I can't do it. Go right ahead. And so very quickly, I just was off to the races. And in the matter of most of 2025, I had taken this from a couple seeds of an idea to I'm, registering an LLC and moving into all kinds of steps to acquire films and do all these other things. And there's where we are. 2025 was a very, very busy year for this, and we'll get into the details of a lot of that, I'm sure.
You know what doesn't surprise me the most about this story is that you took on almost everything. that was the least surprising. Honestly, when you said other people were involved, I was like, who? Like who?
I want the record to show that I tried to get other people involved. I'm not controlling at all at heart.
I don't think that's who you are. I don't think you are controlling. I just think that that's what ends up happening because the best word is diligent. That's the word. You're so diligent and you're so focused.
I really don't give up on anything.
You don't. It doesn't seem like it. So
I'll say kind of ready to go, or because sometimes it's tough to depend on other people and work with other people's schedules, because sometimes the schedules don't line up in terms of speed and completing things and moving things along and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you're ready to go and other people you're working with aren't ready to go.
And you're the most motivated, obviously.
Yeah, some people have different motivation levels and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, that used to happen in school all the time. You hear about those, instances where you have group projects to do. And there's always one person in the group that's gonna do most of it because they're the most, ready to go.
And that was Ryan.
And that's Ryan.
It actually wasn't. I was the opposite. I hated those things.
He had to grow into that.
Yeah, I guess maybe you've gotten more motivated as time has gone on.
Well, that and you're doing something you love, which changes everything. I did not love world history, so I'm not going to set up for the history of...
Only if world history is shown through movies.
Yeah, that would be a different thing. I would have loved that and led that project. Yeah.
But so let's go a little deeper here.
Sure.
The name Antenna. What is the meaning? Where did you cut? Now, what were the titles before that? There had to have been other like you had tried this a couple other times. Were there other names thrown around?
Nothing serious, nothing that stuck. It was very much in the still pasta being thrown at the wall phase, and not even one that had clung for a couple seconds. So none of those really deserve even airtime. Truly, there's a couple things that Antenna will be, we'll say, overshadowing some other names that will be a part of this overall thing. And that's where I can probably get behind that, because the name Antenna, we really wanted something that is kind of all-encompassing, and I guess an inspiration for this is probably the company Mondo. Mondo, as we know it, doesn't even really exist anymore, but for a good decade, Mondo was a company that just was art. They were somebody that people knew. This company can release, I don't know, posters, movies, an action figure, and keychains, and you don't even question it. It's somebody that they know what they're doing. They have this overarching vibe that you can grab a hold of, and we wanted a name that would feel very similar to that. And so Antenna just kind of has that, because you're literally acting as a voice to transmit things to the world, these
Yeah.
signals that you want to send out and get people to receive them. And there will be some things under Antenna that are sort of like lines to the physical media side that will have other branding attached to it under Antenna as well. But they are things that all start with Antenna, and you will understand when those come that it's certainly meant for you to grab a hold of one identity, if that's what your thing, or the entire thing, if you're into the
Yeah.
curation that I have.
Love it, man. It already sounds like there's sub labels in this bitch. It already sounds like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, look. Okay, so as the person that is, big physical media guys, it's probably the hardest thing is to not get too carried away from the beginning, because there's so many things about physical media that we love. We love thinking about what the what the packaging is going to look like, what the artwork is going to be, how crazy when it. So how is there any details on like what a standard edition of one of your physical media releases might look like?
There are, but I'm going to probably piss off a lot of people that are into this for physical media right now and say we're not going to go into a ton of detail for that yet, because the physical media side, we want to kind of also educate on the process behind these things.
Yeah.
And the physical media can't start the exact same date as everything else because of the kind of company this is going to be. So physical media, by definition, has to come slightly later. It will be a staggered rollout. And so in a few months after you're seeing this video, then you'll hear about the first pre-order for the physical media. And by a few months, I mean like a handful of months. It's not going to be an immediate thing. This is not going to be something that we want to announce. You can pre-order this now and it's out in 3 months. I hate that. So I'm going to make sure that we're not talking about this until you can understand that it's shipping to you within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Hell yeah, man. You did also mention that there's a lot of other things going on within this company, not just physical media, but you're also acquiring films to also go out into theatrical releases. Tell me more details on that.
This overall, I hesitate to even start out by saying we're a boutique physical media label, because that's really just a corner of this thing. We are really trying to rescue films that we can see eventually will be in danger of being lost or forgotten already. And the crazy thing is many of these haven't even premiered yet. So we are looking at films and understanding that the landscape of film distribution in the mid 2020s is kind of bleak for most films. There are a lot of films that if you get a Netflix deal, you might be visible for a handful of years. You might not be. You might not ever get served by the algorithm. You get theatrical distribution by a handful of distributors that are here playing kind of a numbers game, and they'll throw you out into 20 theaters. And if you catch fire at one of them, they'll say, oh, well, maybe we'll try 10 more in that area, see if we can get it to really grab hold. But if that doesn't work, you're done. Like you'll end up on streaming, and sure, you can watch it on Tubi for the next 5 years. But for the filmmaker, you're not making like actual good money for any side of that. And what we are trying to do is find films that will either be in danger of being lost in the next couple of years if we don't help them along the way, will have already have been lost from decades prior, or is something that is semi-new, and yet somebody out there has never even heard of this film, never had a chance to watch it because they didn't happen to be at one of 4 festivals that it played at, or at 6 theaters that it premiered at. And so we're going to try to kind of fill in a lot of those gaps. And then that means too, there are many films that have never had proper physical media releases or HD releases, or have never been served in the States properly. And we're going to do our best to fill as many of those gaps as we possibly can.
That's great, man. I love hearing, that there's a label being created that's kind of focusing specifically, it feels like, more on the independent side of cinema. Especially like, when we've talked to people that work for festivals, they talk about how all these great movies that they get to see, but they can only pick certain ones to move forward. So them are the films that, need a chance. And like you said, don't even get physical media attention. So that's great, man. I love that angle. So when it comes to doing your research on searching for these films, what is the best way you found to find the right films?
I mean, there's so many different ways. One of the easiest ways to take the pressure off of me is I partnered with somebody who has actually founded multiple film festivals. One of the guys helping me with this is Billy Ray Bruton. He's somebody that even this origin story is very weird. He is somebody that was looking to get somebody to produce his podcast, and I think this was all the way back in 2020, like right at this weird virus is happening. We don't know what's going to come from it, and I was stuck at home and I went, let's see if I can help out. And so he posted on Twitter and said, I'm looking for somebody to help produce a podcast. Anybody that can help, send me a DM. And I sent him a DM, and I just said, yeah, I can produce a podcast. And I sent him what I do and what I've got out there. And he looked at my social media and talked to me in a very quick conversation. And he went, yeah, this guy's professional. Like, he's not a piece of shit. He's not somebody that's just completely unable to handle an adult conversation. And so he took a chance on me. And literally, we've been close ever since. I've met him multiple times in person now, even though he lives, 1,500 miles away from me. I have produced multiple podcasts for him. I've co-hosted podcasts for him. I have done all kinds of things. And it eventually led to, man, you are leading multiple film festivals. He founded a festival out in Seattle called the Make Believe Film Festival. He has helped with the Slam Dance Film Festival. He's been a film programmer. He's done all kinds of stuff. And so Billy Ray is like on email list. He is getting conversations handled before they're available to the public. And so he's got an ear to the ground for many of these films. And we're not talking about like films that A24 might buy. We're talking about films that are never going to be on their radar. Yeah. And I wish I could get Bring Her Back from last year and be able to license that. But no, those aren't the kind of films we're talking about. We're talking about films that are drastically smaller than that don't really have that opportunity, that might play a couple festivals, and then probably the filmmaker would just have no choice but to throw it up on streaming. For a lot of these distributors, they are, I think I alluded to this earlier, but they're playing a numbers game. If they'll try to sign 10 films in the hopes that one of them will make them $100,000 and make them be able to be viable for the next 3 months until they can find the next $100,000 film. Yeah. The reality is most films are not going to make that much money, especially if you're screwing over the filmmaker, because you are only there to make money. And so it's the working together of all these things that can sort of develop the perfect synchronicity to get these films out appropriately, where nobody feels screwed and the audience also wants to see them, which is not simple to pull off in today's social media marketing, where you're fighting the algorithms that I mentioned above, in the ever shrinking theatrical landscape, which is always difficult, even for studio titles, let's be honest. And so his film, it's not going to be for everybody, for sure. But there's going to be a lot of people that if they see it for the first time this year, especially in a theater, because it's the best place to see this film, it's kind of going to blow their mind and be something I think that can make a lot of top 10 of the year lists for some people.
Yeah. Is it now, to branch, to kind of go back a little bit. So with the theatrical distribution, are you guys planning on trying to find a way to, kind of like what was it, Cinematic Void, to kind of go and kind of have special events? Is that something you're thinking about trying to do?
Not only are we thinking about that, we already have stuff booked. It's awesome. Kind of intense how fast some of this moved. We are looking at road shows for certain films. We are looking at very hyper specific marketing for certain films. And that's probably a good time to bring those up. Another thing that Billy Ray and I both love is regional filmmaking. And as fans of physical media, we've all heard that before about certain things that they are regional filmmaking, but they're not what I'm getting at here. And so to explain that a little bit better, we're not talking about just low budget films made in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. We're talking about films where it is a lower budget film made in a very specific area, where the crew is from there, the cast is from there, the city is very visibly in the background of this film, feels like a character. It is a film that is about that area, something about that, it resonates specifically with the people from this corner of the United States, or this tiny country in Europe, or this really small upbringing of a certain spiritual background for certain people. And based on that, you are literally hyper marketing to a very specific niche of a niche of a niche of people that will love this film. But that also lends it kind of a lot better to be able to focus your marketing. So instead of us trying to stand up on a mountain and shotgun blast into the air and say, please watch our movie, we can go to a community or buy ads in this one community or go and sign up a theater in this one community and say, listen, this person made a film and they grew up going to your theater. Would you be kind enough to give us a Friday in May to premiere their film? And let's have like an actual giant premiere event for this small town film that was made here. And based on that, we're able to bring people to some of these theaters that will see a filmmaker have like a premiere event for a film that maybe cost them $20,000 that they raised through friends and family that was never expected to get a theatrical release. And now they're like pulling up in a really nice car and getting out with friends and family and having a party at a theater to premiere their feature film. Like, that's the dream. As somebody that has wanted to make films, like, doesn't that sound amazing?
It's just special, man. I used to work at a movie theater, so I for a lot of times just was like, I wish they would do premieres here.
Yeah.
You want to come to a premiere at our 4-screen here in my town?
Right.
Please, because it would bring my dreams come true.
Literally,
yeah. I mean, no, I'm with you, man. Yeah.
It's interesting. So would this require a lot of, logistics in terms of travel logistics and things like that? Would you, you being based in the Midwest, let's say you wanted to do, show this movie at an East Coast theater, would that require you and your team traveling to someplace in the East Coast? Or how would the logistics of all that kind of work? I know it's kind of early on to think,
it's not though. That's the funny thing. These are things that we've had to map out already. The funny thing is, for most of this, what is the best way to say this? Because for all of this, I probably could do it completely hands off. The reality is, that's not me. I kind of want to be like at every single one of these events, and I'm not going to be able to, and I have to come to terms with that. That's one of the hardest things here. But there are certain things that, like, it's kind of that perfect storm of, through Disconnected and Someone's Favorite Productions, I have made contacts in this giant spiderweb network that is literally worldwide at this point. And I know people at hundreds of theaters. I've done things for labels behind the scenes that nobody has any clue about. I've worked theatrical booking for labels behind the scenes. I work social media for labels behind the scenes. I manage like a really big horror brand's Patreon, and I've done that for more than a year at this point. And all of these things have led to me meeting certain people that I can like learn their background and kind of create this like mental Rolodex to be able to say, oh, if I need somebody in Toronto, I know 9 people I can approach and say, hey, does your uncle still own that theater you told me about? Well, have I got something for you? And so that sort of thing has led me to say, we're trying to get this premiere of somebody that shot in, an hour away from your town. Would you be able to play this at your theater? And so I don't have to be there. Yeah. However, I'm probably going to choose to be at some of these events, especially over the first couple of years, because to me, it's not to sound schmaltzy, like this is special to me. I'm literally answering some people's dreams that they've wanted to do for years. And it's not to make it sound like they couldn't have done it without me, but genuinely in this industry, there are a lot of things that can't happen unless you know the right person. And not that I'm that right person, but I know a lot of people that know the right person. And so just connecting some of those synapses will literally make this chain work.
The antenna. It's just too good.
It's poetic.
Okay, so now that I'm hearing all this stuff, now I'm like, look, my mission is to figure out to get a movie from my area to you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I got to get you a movie so I can get you to come here.
Funny enough, I'm already working on films from your home state.
Well, I was going to say, Will's here, and I know you work with Will, so there's got to be, I was going to say, you know what? I don't even have to do the work. Will's here. Never mind.
Multiple times this week, Will has sent me links and said, "Can you get this for Intel?"
Because we got some decent art house theaters in the area. We got like the Winston-Salem's got one. We got the Carolina Theater. There's some decent theaters in the area.
Yeah. So Billy Ray gets a lot of those for me. And then, of course, the other way is I just go and research. I hear from some of these people that there's a film that somebody likes that they have not been able to see since 1972 when they stayed up late at their grandma's house in Rhode Island. And I go look that up and I say, who's the producer? Let's see if I can find the rights. I happened upon a film out of St. Louis, Missouri that is just the, like, I don't know, like, most endearing attempt at making a film with a group of friends that I've ever seen. And I'm in the process of trying to get that and restore it right now. It is such a beautiful landscape when you really determine, like, literally every single film is possible. It's just a matter of making the right connection or being able to shake a hand and get somebody to trust you. Sure, that's probably not the case for like something owned by Disney. So yeah, maybe not every film is possible, but every film that's not, first of all, if we just say every film that's not owned by a studio, that's still hundreds of thousands of films. There's still so many opportunities.
Whenever I hear somebody say like, how can there be more labels, or how can they be like everybody's like, they're just releasing the same things. Like, yeah, you know what? We are getting a lot of rehashing. Yeah, I get it. But honestly, if you're being honest with ourselves, we know that this is a business. The reason there's a lot of that rehashing is because they know they can sell it. They got to make money. They got to pay people. And so they have to work within a certain bound sometimes. But there are plenty of films out there to be mined. I mean, plenty.
That's
so
true.
You're just going to that mine and you're picking that spot where nobody's going to. You're like, there's maybe a couple that look in this area, but I'm going to keep digging. So yeah, that's awesome. Andrew, anything?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I was just kind of curious myself about the whole, which films to choose, which films not to choose, and the whole process of acquisition of films, something I've always been interested in, regardless of who we've talked to, here on Chasing Labels over the years and whatnot. And it's interesting how you can go, like you just mentioning it, Bring Her Back, but you want to go even lower and lower to, because there are film festivals you've never even heard of, where there will be films that will be exhibited and they'll probably never be shown again. I mean, there's local film festivals literally like everywhere, and it's very interesting to kind of go and dig in those areas, because those are the movies, like you said, never get the light of day theatrically, or never get the light of day in a physical media release or anything like that. And I'm just curious, how does that process go? You're talking about kind of contacting people for rights and things like that. Is it as simple as Googling a name and trying to find contact information, or is it a little more investigative than that?
I mean, that's how it starts pretty much every time. And sometimes that is the end of the road. You just happen to find the right person on the first try. That being said, if you're trying for a film from 1971, that's a lot less likely than if it's a film from 2024. So yeah, the likelihood of something having changed hands over 50 years is substantially higher, of course. So it gets difficult. But like the endearing film from St. Louis that I mentioned, it was literally, I found the film and I went on Facebook and searched the name of the director from the credits and found him and sent him a friend request and literally DM'd him and was like, "Are you the mastermind behind this film?" And he went, "Yep, that's me." And we just hit it off from there. And I was like, let's discuss, because this is the sort of thing I love. And I feel like, 45 years later, people would love to see this thing that you made with your friends after you graduated high school.
No, I really hope that the movie, little things, the shorts that I made with my film club people, one of the shorts being called Puppet AIDS.
I wonder if somebody's going to come to you
40
one day.
years from now, somebody's going to come looking for that.
Yeah. Did you put that? I want to use that as a special feature on one of my releases. Obviously there's always success, but there's always, not so successes. Obviously in the early stages, have you like kind of hit some walls in terms of like you contacted somebody and they were just not interested in, working with you or working with all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that at least on my end, that's a problem in 2025, 2026 nowadays, is the fact that social media and email and all these things are so algorithm focused that quite often you just will never get a response, whether it goes to like message request because you're not friends, or your email has never gone to this email, so it goes to spam. Like you have to email first somehow. Why are we sending it to spam? I've been a real person for years. You've let this work. Anyways, so that's like the technology side is a huge stumbling block a lot of the time. And it's not the standoffishness necessarily of some people, because a lot of these people, if you approach them about the biggest film they made in their career, it's a common thing. But for many of these people, it's wait. You want to talk about that movie? hold on, how did you even hear about that? And then you actually bond over some of those things. That's happened multiple times already. So if you're not trying for their most famous films, sometimes it is a huge, like, I don't like loophole to get on their good graces. So
Yeah.
it's an odd setup.
Well, I'll cut this if you want me to. If you tell me the truth and you don't want anybody to know, but are you using government contacts to get to people that you couldn't usually get to through your job?
I believe my lawyer has recommended that I say absolutely not.
Oh, okay. I'm just envisioning like some guy that made this movie that you want to see out in a field somewhere, and he's like farming, and you just a helicopter comes down, and you're just like, I want to do your movie. You know, like I want to, yeah. I could just. That's
like the opening of Commando, where they go get Arnold, and he's like chopping wood in the middle of the woods. And they were like, "We need you, we need you."
Yeah. Well, I think you also had mentioned that there are going to be some digital releases as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are heading up some of these to be on streaming, to get
Yeah.
like paid VOD releases where you can buy them video on demand for a period of time. Those will likely be exclusive for that. And before they go up on streaming, if they go up on streaming, some of these, they may only make sense to do a couple of these things.
Yeah.
And based on that, you kind of just have to make the business decision of what do we put our resources behind.
Sure.
And we're really trying to ensure that we don't overwhelm ourselves. And so we're not like out here to sign 300 movies and promise, hey, these are all going to come out the next year and a half, because we've seen that come from other companies and it doesn't work out well.
Well, I can tell you this. If you want me as a collector to keep up with your damn label, don't put out too many, because I won't be able to keep up, because
right.
That is a problem for me. Like there are some labels that I really love and I want to get all their releases, but God damn it if they don't just overwhelm you. So that is, I think it's good to pace yourself, to give every release the due attention. And, it just adds, sometimes less is more, adds a fervor, it adds an anticipation to whatever the next thing is. So I think one of the best companies that does that is Fun City Editions. Fun City Editions doesn't overwhelm its fans, and it like has one release every couple months, every
couple of months.
Yeah.
But
one thing kind of connected to documentary, I know you talked about how you have a passion for short film. Another kind of different style of filmmaking, short films, mid-length films. And I think you mentioned how that's something you're passionate about as well, and wanting to search for them type of films too. What's your plan on that?
I mean, one thing that I've loved as somebody that loves physical media, as you can see what's behind me, I have fallen in love with many of the discs and packages that come out as collections throughout the years. Canadian International Pictures has put out multiple releases that are compiled, curated, like planned out, well thought out collections of short films. And based on those, you'll find, connective tissue. You'll find some themes. You'll find, oh, these are all in chronological order. Oh, this tells the history of this part of Canada, whatever that they're putting out. I love those things so much. And as somebody that has young kids like you, it's so much easier to say, I'm going to watch these 3 short films and then see how the night goes. I'm not going to put in this 4-hour film, because that ain't happening. A lot of times there's no way that I can do that. And so I'm trying to find an interesting way to build some discs that are collections of shorts. And that's where, earlier we talked about, well, it sounds like there's some sub labels. There are, and there's not. The reality is here, I have a very eclectic taste. And you brought up Jonathan Hertzberg at Fun City. One thing that people adore about Fun City, sure, the focus of doing one release every 2 months is great. That works for a lot of people that collect everything. But why do those people collect everything from Jonathan? It's because they trust his curation. I understand that as somebody brand new to this, even though you may have listened to my show for the last couple of years, or heard me twice over the years, or hated me because you saw one of my visual essays on a disc, who knows? However, I have a period here where I'm going to try to show you my curation. I'm going to show you the type of choices that we're making to put on disc, and then you get to choose. Am I going to want the ones that are short films, that are collections of short films? Am I going to want the ones that are regional films? Am I going to want documentaries? If you're not, there's going to be a separate way where you're going to have your own set of spine numbers. You're not going to feel pressured to buy everything. There's going to be similar packaging type for some of these things and not for others. We're going to find a way to try to make people happy and feel like this is made for you. But also, if you like them all, I'm not going to say no. Like, those are going to be built for you, because if you have similar taste to me, or this, I mean, again, like as schmaltzy as this sounds, like this thirst for knowledge and just seeing things that you've never seen before, heard of before in most of these cases, I'm going to try to prove to you that you might find something to like in every single thing that I put out.
You're still saying things that I like.
It's interesting because I will say this also, just because kind of all connecting here. Short films are something that, if you want to see something that doesn't get collected on social media,
Right.
on physical media, short films are very much not at all. Sometimes what's really cool about the boutique label realm is you'll see the short films as special features on someone's main feature release, which is always
thrown in
really
as an
nice.
Afterthought.
As kind of an afterthought. Sometimes they're not even restored. Sometimes they're just standard def. Sometimes they just put them on there just because they have them. And sometimes they're like early stuff from like way when they were like student filmmaking days or something like that, which is nice to have. I'll say it is very nice to have, but you don't see just straight up collections of shorts that often.
Right.
Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't, and it really all depends on the filmmaker, and all depends on, you know, the way the elements are, like how the elements are. Some of these old short films are, you know, kind of falling apart, but so that's something that's definitely intriguing in general.
And if there's an area of film festivals, even modern film festivals, that definitely don't get any attention,
there's
the short film
as
area.
someone who's, you know, started out.
Before you dive down that, Andrew, when's the last time you saw a short film advertised to be playing in a theater that wasn't part of a festival?
Never. Those only end up.
Guess what we're working towards?
The only time you see that, and this is rare because it only happens like this time of year, is they'll run the shorts that are like Academy Award nominations, or the Pixar, or sometimes you see a Pixar short before a Pixar film, something like that. They actually have done, like, you can buy the whole like Pixar shorts like in a collection or something, but that's like rare stuff, and they don't advertise that at all or anything like that. They don't play in most major theater chains or things like that.
Right.
So like those shorts that play at your local festival, you'll probably never see them again unless the filmmaker posts them online. And by post them online, I'm talking like YouTube or Vimeo.
Literally.
But we want them guys to make some money.
Right.
Well, and not only that, like, there are ways to enjoy short films. That's not just, I'm going to sit down and let this YouTube video play while I surf on my phone. Like, there's so many ways to respect how these short films have affected people's lives. So many of the filmmakers that the three of us love had to start their career by making a short film. And whether that's a literally a 3-minute horror short, whether that's an 11-minute like epic drama, whether that's a 35-minute thing that they had to turn in as like a proof of concept to get feature funding for a film, these things had to exist to make these filmmakers be full-time incredible filmmakers, to get the, you know, the trust of a producer or the funding from an executive producer or what have you. And I bet you can find something to love about a lot of those. You've just literally never been given the opportunity. And if you can see, I don't know, one of those 35-minute shorts that I just mentioned that people literally have never had a chance to see in a theater, with 5 or 8 other things around that short film to make an event out of that night, to me, that sounds kind of incredible.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing, I mean, yeah, this happens in feature-length films too. I mean, we do a show called The Unwatched Pile. I love doing double features, triple, you know, I love finding a thematic through line through multiple different types of movies. So doing it with shorts is even more fun because you can do a lot more a lot more ideas, a lot more different shorts to run through one thread or one.
I mean, you can watch, depending on how short the short is. I've seen shorts that go from 3 minutes to 30 minutes. It really all depends on what you consider a short to be.
That's true.
It's so like you can watch several of them in a row, and you can get a sense of like this is where certain filmmakers started out.
Right.
Like,
and I think
kind of like what Ryan was saying.
Yeah, I think what's great about that is that when you have connectivity like that between seemingly random shorts. It just shows you the connectivity between humans in general. Like it's
Right.
a good. That's what film can do. It's supposed to be communicating. It's supposed to be, and when you can curate, if you do like a festival box set of shorts,
Yep.
and have a bunch of things that have a certain vibe or a certain theme. I think that's just a magical thing. That would be a magical box set on my shelf to have a curated box set of shorts that all wanted to talk about humanity in different points of view. And
Right. And now, we're talking about certain physical media, characteristics of what some of these will look like. Now, you do have a separate company by yourself that does do special features. Will that be in collaboration with
of course
these
it will.
future releases?
Shut up, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Of course
That
it
was a
will.
nice
No,
transition you just cut off there, by the way.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a dumb question. Sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It is
the question
not a dumb
stands.
question, but was there more to the question? I'll
No,
let you
that was
finish.
it. That was it. It was a
Okay,
nice
so-
question that got derailed.
I will say the idea that I've had behind my production company will stand with me for the rest of my life. Every single movie has been or is someone's favorite movie, and I never want to be punching down at any of these films that I'm putting on disc or in theaters, because if I was, why am I putting my time and energy into that? I do not enjoy that whatsoever. And so my job is to show you why somebody might find this to be their favorite film. Now, sure, in some cases that person might only be the director or the lead in this not great film. However, they might have a story from that film that got them to an extensive Hollywood career. And so one of the things that I'm looking to do is the three of us, we are hungry for. Look at Andrew. Look how many times we've heard Andrew on a late night 2.5 hour rant discussing what he's watched because Warner Archive announced some title. And he's like, I've been waiting for the last 3 titles from this one director from 1947 to get a release. The reality is that director has also directed about 7 different short films. And when has Warner Archive or anybody else ever thought to put those on disc? The answer is never. And somebody like Andrew would love to have a disc that has all of those films, the shorts on that disc, and a bunch of scholarly individuals to contextualize how they led to their career, how they led to a Hollywood journeyman career where he's directing literally everything that the Hollywood executives asked him to, something like that. And so if we can build a disc out of, some random director that so many of us love, and that's one short, and maybe it's a 15-minute short, that's obviously not enough to build a disc around. But if I can theme all those things, and the draw for you is, I adore this director, and this final short is the only thing from his filmography that has never been on physical media before, I can get it. I also get all these wonderful bonus things, and I can learn along the way. To me, that is a win-win-win in like 9 different categories. And so I'm going to do what I can to deliver a package like that is themed, that is relevant, that is educational, that is entertaining in ways that you're not prepared for, and that makes sense and is also worth your money. The biggest thing for me is so many of us are buying physical media and priced out of so many of these releases that you can't afford. You can't afford the shelf space that you're giving up for some of them. You feel, many people that are collectors feel pressured to buy certain releases and feel like they have to buy it on day 1 or day 20 to get a certain aspect of it. I'm going to do what I can to not be somebody that feeds into that and try to be a force of positive change in the industry in ways that I hope challenges other labels to do the same.
Dude, the levels you're doing here with, like you said, all these different types of films that like you said might not have ever seen the light of day. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see what you got in store for us. Is there what would be your best plea to the public, your best sales pitch, your best, I don't want you to cry. You don't have to do a Daniel Day-Lewis, but like, what's your battle cry for this label and ultimately why you want people to check you out?
I mean, the biggest thing is Roger Ebert said that movies are empathy machines. And I was raised in a home where I did not travel much. I was raised in a home that was, I'll just be flat out honest. I hope my my father who raised me and my stepmother who raised me see this, and they can feel some shame. My household was full blown racist. My family was full of homophobes. My family was full of people that did not understand culture, even their own culture, which is essentially like milquetoast. There was no actual culture there because they weren't proud of anything because they didn't have anything to be proud of. I'm trying to build something that I can be proud of by showing you other things that people are proud of. These filmmakers work their asses off tirelessly to make essentially no money. And what we are trying to do is change the way that filmmakers can approach distribution contracts, get with somebody that they can trust, that is transparent with them, and that you can see your film take an entire path to wherever it's going to end up, and we're going to do our best to steer it to the right audience. The only thing that we can ask is for you as a viewer to want to have empathy. Approach these films as if it's something brand new to you that you want to see, that you want to learn about, that you want to walk away from knowing more about a person, a filmmaker, a culture, a person of another gender, a person that lives an entirely different life than you. Because most people are not like you. You might think that you are like everyone else because you're in a smaller bubble, but the reality is there's an entire world out there for you to explore. So we're going to be bringing films from all over the world. We're going to be bringing films from all kinds of different filmmakers, from all kinds of different backgrounds. And if that is exciting, Antenna Releasing, check it out on social media, go to the website, subscribe to the mailing address, follow Disconnected because I'm obviously going to talk about it a lot, and I'm not going to slow down. This stuff is here to stay. It means the world to me, and I'm going to do what I can to make sure that it, at least for a day, means the world to you.
Fantastic, man. I think you practiced that in the mirror before this.
I just made that up.
Yeah, man, that was like one of them like
Improv.
Oscar speeches or something. Got the chills on that. So yeah, so is there a specific site that the mail enlisting that they can they go to?
Yeah, it is antennareleasing.com. I really hate when things are different across all platforms. And as somebody that has to pay attention to that every single day for Disconnected, I really did my best to make sure that this was the same. So you should be able to go on any social media and go to the website and type in Antenna Releasing, and you'll find it. We are not spelled funky. We're not going to be like, take out all the vowels and that's how the name of what. No, nothing like that. Just antennareleasing.com and Antenna Releasing on social media.
Fantastic, man. Well, I think I can speak for Andrew. This is really exciting, man. Really awesome. I'm proud of what you're doing, man. It's awesome. I'm glad you're doing it. This is an important endeavor. I think we should all follow it closely, support it. Yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's get all around this. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on, sharing this with us. And if you ever need any help, we're here for you.
I'll ask.
God damn it, he will. But then he'll just take it back from us and say, "Let me do that," just to tease us. But all right, guys, please, we'll have all the stuff in the description. Go check out Antenna Releasing and the Disconnected, and can't wait to see the first releases.
Me neither.
All right.